morning, everyone. Today is, I think, Wednesday. Yeah, work too much, but not enough. It's Wednesday, January what is it? I don't even know, of 2025. But, yeah, today, after recovering from my bit of overtime there, my taste of overnight overtime, sorry, I gotta be careful. These people are driving terribly as usual. I watched a bunch of reports from the breadth of things that I study, the wide base of things, and because I look at things and I tie it into finance, because to me, everything's about the flow of value. Notice that I didn't say the flow of money, because money's great, money does a lot, but money is a tool. And often money and currency are terms that are confused. Money is a thing that's based on something that is recognized as value. Currency is a representation of that. So in pure form, little things of gold, silver, what have you, would be money. Because throughout time that we know of, gold has been exchanged by the vast majority of civilizations. Now, currency is a representation of what is of value. In this case, we're using precious metals. So the precious metals are represented by the currency. Now, what affects that entire scenario? A lot of people overlook this one: natural disasters. Now, people might immediately think of what people have been suffering for way too long down in North Carolina, what people are experiencing out in California, and that's terrible what they're going through. But history has shown us things get a lot worse. Whether it's the reported comet strike that led to the Chicago fires of 1871, Chicago and two other main areas, or the reported catastrophes of magnetic pole shifts. Yeah, we're trying to avoid going through yellow lights here because that's dangerous in this area. So now, one of the things I want to bring up is that there's a channel here on YouTube, formerly known as Suspicious Observers spelt with a zero instead of the O. They recently changed their name to Space Weather News. After that title, you see SO in parentheses. So that's how you know you got the real channel there. And point is that these guys are big on the science of catastrophism. Now, what is that? A lot of people don't know that. Figure it was widely looked at from roughly the 19-teens to the 1940s, and like other things, it fell out of study. It fell out of favor. One could think that it tied to the emergence of television and radio. And there's a level of truth to that. I mean, picture you just came back from a global war, the second one in as many generations. You don't really want to hear about catastrophism. You don't want to hear about so many things. You are dealing with what you've been through, whether you're the actual veteran or the family of the veteran, and you want your kids to have a nice little life, so you have them listen to the radio, and then eventually they watch television, and with that, things fall out of favor. And we can go deep in the rabbit hole on that in another video. Where I'm getting at is, when was the last time you looked for, heard, or even saw really anything, not even just a blurb, but anything about a volcanic eruption not on Earth, a non-Terran volcanic eruption? Probably never. And if you did, you'd be like, I think I heard something. And that, that's cool. It's not a fault on your part at all. I'm not blaming you. What I'm driving at is the moon Io had a volcanic eruption that was huge. 40,000 square miles. Mind you, Io is just a smidgen bigger than our moon. Now, what's the point of all that? Well, if you follow space weather news, you start to see that and they got some great documentaries, you start to see that our planet is part of a solar system that goes through stuff every a certain amount of time on a regular cycle. So we experience catastrophism on regular cycles. You have reports, and I'm not just talking about the, was that Chan report, where allegedly the tidal wave was 2 miles high. I'm not talking about just that. I'm talking about stuff in the Vedic or Hindu scriptures. You got a lot of stuff out there that nobody looks at. So now, since as of late I've become primarily a crypto channel with only hints at real estate and everything, simply because of the times we live in, my thing is that we have to be prepared for any eventuality. What is a good way? A lot of people would say, well, if everything falls apart, mate, you don't want to have crypto, you want to have gold. Okay, I get where you're coming from. And not just gold, silver, copper, especially copper, various forms and grades, because you have industrial grade copper that in the Northeast we use for piping. You have medical grade copper, and copper reportedly has some health benefits that you can definitely find on X, a lot of it on X. Now, that's all well and good, but if you only become a precious metals bug, as they say, a gold bug, you can only buy so much. So, where I'm going with this is leverage and diversification for various scenarios. Now, I've touched on this before, where pretty much anything that people need can be traded, because we're talking about value, not money, not currency. Whether it's, and I'm sure quite a few of you got to laugh, whether it's whiskey, whether it's heirloom seeds, I bet you a lot of you got to laugh at the whiskey reference, but it's true. Pretty much anything that you can use to eat or use to calm the stress can be traded. Now, whatever you're into, whatever you want to trade, you have to have an ability to purchase it. Your crypto ain't going to do it, because crypto's not going to be working. We will have electrical storms, and for anything to work would be a blessing. So, in preparation for that, you want to have a few bits of, well, some people say have 2 to 10 years worth of precious metals. I was hearing that today, and I'm like, gee whiz, how could you afford 2 to 10 years of precious metals that would be sufficient enough to purchase a comfortable life for a decade. That's a lot. So if you don't already have a lot of money and you don't already have a good safe, you're going to need to make that money. That's where crypto comes in. So you get a lot of people into real estate, and yesterday we touched on this new thing going on within commercial real estate, etc. We wave to this nice person. Thank you, nice person. What you have is a scenario where everyone is trying to part you from your money. You work hard for your money. More than likely, you're one of the people like me. You work a lot of hours, you try to grab overtime, and you learned your lesson from before, so you try to keep that overtime within reason, but sometimes you blow the budget and you do insane overtime. And in these days of inflation, it's very easy to blow the budget. You really got to watch it. Now, all that being said, you're going to want, I would say, and this is my opinion, my conjecture, this is not financial advice, you're going to want to have a lot of things available to keep yourself fed, sheltered, safe, and you want to keep it quiet. And as I discussed a couple of times already, unfortunately on the internet, I put everything in my name when they all first started so long ago. Gosh, I can't believe I've been in this stuff for over 20 years online. Oh man, talk about growing stage. I'm going to be stuck behind a school bus. It's going to drive 35 and a 55. Heck damn it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if I hadn't done that, I would have given myself a fake name. Probably would have been a stupid one. Because I was an idiot 20-something years ago, I admit. Not as stupid as I was 30 years ago, but it is what it is. Now, yeah, we're doing 45 and a 55. Oh, wow. Anyway, can't stand these school buses. They really don't know how to drive around here. It's like, come on, guys. And, oh, jeez. Stays to the right, doesn't stay in the center. Anyway, and that's an unintended metaphor yet again. You get these people, they don't see the chain of value. So what's chain of value? Chain of value is your ability to maintain your ownership of value measured by assets, regardless of situation. Now, there are things that are going to be outside of your control. Things such as catastrophes, whether that's global, local, regional, national, whatever the case may be, and for whatever reason that happens, whether it's man-made or otherwise. So you're going to need to prepare for those kind of situations. You're going to need a safe. You're going to want to make sure that safe is fireproof and floodproof. You're going to, well, you'll need more than one safe that's like that, because you're going to have to secure valuable items of variety. What do I mean by that? It could be ammunition. It could be foods. There could be so many things. All you need is one issue, and your decade could be ruined. Your life could be ruined. You could put yourself in a situation where you sustain injury or, God forbid, worse. So, let me watch the road here, because this guy really doesn't know what he's doing, this guy in front of me. Anyway, clueless. Get out of the way, would you please? Thank you. Oh, sorry about that, but so many clueless people out there. Now, stay out of my lane. Man, these people. Sorry, I got really distracted with that. So yes, have ways to protect your assets physically, electronically, what have you. Have those assets and the ability to get those assets. Now, how would you do that? The way you would do that is through, in my opinion, owning crypto, learning how to leverage that value. Now, I have been learning a lot about having a company, how to be an agent of your own company. I would suggest learning about that, but be very careful of your sources of information, ladies and gentlemen, because there's a lot of bad information out there. It's terrible. You know, you gotta understand where you live. Like in the state I live in, if I have an LLC in another state, I still have to report that on my taxes and have to report it as a foreign entity. Well, guess what that knocks out of the picture? It knocks out having a Wyoming LLC, because even if I have the whole LLC Wyoming scenario going on, I still have to report it to my state. And I hear the same thing about Delaware, Nevada. You know, you got to do your own research on this. So here's my thing. What's the point of having an LLC if I still got to report it? You know, these like secret LLC thingies that they talk about, how they market it, it's pointless. So learn about having a company, and I mean company, literally company, as opposed to a corporation, because you know, you got to think of different reporting, different business structures. You got to take your time and learn. You can't just buy something and say, I'm rich. It doesn't work that way. Now, you got to look at that. You got to look at, so you basically got to be legit, is my whole thing. So look at having your own company, a holding company of some type. Get out there, learn about it, learn any regulations, because you know the Fed's going to have a whole bunch of regulations on that. So you got to get out there and learn. You know, you're not going to learn how to make this work from one 30-minute video from somebody who probably knows what they're talking about, but you have to know if what they're talking about is going to work for you, because you know there are variables, and I bring this up a lot. Lots of variables in life, so you got to learn your state laws. You just can't buy into the hype. And ladies and gentlemen, there's just so much hype out there. It's insane, because you know everyone's trying to sell you something. Well, on that note, this might seem to be all over the place, so let me tighten it up. You cannot control external factors. You can only control what you can control. So you got to prepare. You got to prepare for pretty much anything. Value is measured in different ways depending on situations. So definitely, and this is my opinion, and again, not financial advice, crypto's the way to go. And then from crypto, you leverage into other assets that have value. For me, it's really not real estate right now, because if you own a property that's a rental, got to make sure they can pay the rent. All right, all that being said, thank you for watching, everyone. Have a great day.